Initials IA from Toronto, Canada. What is considered soft living in the West? And practical tips to make sure we don't fall into it.
Question says, what is considered to be Israaf living in the West? Israaf living in the West. Obviously, the questioner has a specific intention, but just for clarification, is no different than Israaf living in the East. I don't think that's what the questioner means, but many people, they think this, that this is piety in the West and over there it's different. Or it's haram to do this here, but it's over there it's different. It's riba. We suffer from riba in the West. And overseas in the East, there's no what? There's no riba. Many people, they think this, and that's wrong. That's 101% wrong. There's riba in the Middle East, the Far East, the South, the North, just like it is in the what?
West.
In the West. And the hadith that states, which is not necessarily an authentic hadith, is not necessarily an authentic hadith as far as the technical science, but as if the meaning is correct. And as if the meaning is irrefutable, as if that there will come a time in which the riba will spread, and those who don't take it and touch it will be painted by its dust. That is going to touch you in what? One way or another. You just think about the world today. You go to make Hajj and Umrah, you buy a ticket. How is that ticket? Is it taxes? Is it insured? You have a Hajj group. Do you have taxes, fines, fees, etc. Al-Muhim, at the end of the day, is that riba is widespread. Just like Israaf is also what? Widespread. And many people, they think that it's different because the tradition and the culture overseas is different, so therefore the Israaf is totally different. No, the rules apply. But the details of Israaf is extremely subjective. It's extremely what? Subjective. Now, I think if we make an example, things become easier. As the ulama of Islam, they say, وَبِالْمِثَالِ يَتَّضِحُ الْمَقَالِ وَبِالْمِثَالِ يَتَّضِحُ الْمَقَالِ. They say everything comes clear from an example. Let's take two men. Two men, they want to buy a wristwatch. And the wristwatch that they want to buy is, let's say, a presidential day and date Rolex. Depending on the material of the watch, it could be gold, it could be silver, it could be with diamonds, without, etc. But just a basic stainless steel day and date Rolex, presidential. The starting price for that watch is around what? 30,000. Starting price for a basic watch. $30,000 for a watch. Tell you? And one can come and say that for one man to pay $30,000 for a watch is israf, mubin, clear extravagance. And for another man to pay $30,000 for a watch is normal. Normal. Rather, it could be recommended. Everybody understand this? Now, the opposite of israf, the other extreme is being stingy. Is being what? Stingy, as Allah says in the Quran. Those when they spend, they don't what? Go extreme in extravagance, nor are they tight-fisted. And they're what? Baina dhalika, they have what? A balance between that. Allah mentioned Surah Al-Furqan. Two men, they want to buy a wristwatch. One man, he buys, let's say, a Casio Illuminator watch. A basic model. It's not waterproof, but it's water resistant. Not waterproof, you can't dive or dip it in, but you can make it take a shower with it. It'll still work, it'll become a little foggy. And the watch is going for, let's say, $20, $19.99. For one man, we may say it's permissible and it's normal for him to pay $20 for a wristwatch. And for another man, we may say it's haram. It's haram for him to pay $20 for a wristwatch. Or at least it's disliked. What makes the difference between these two men with these watches? One man is an ambassador to a country. And another man is a brother who sells fruit on the corner. This person who is an ambassador or prime minister, he meets presidents, kings, queens. He has to fly. He's representing the pride of his country. He has to talk with people, make deals, prevent war, do all types of diplomatic things. His appearance, his forte, how he looks, has to be at a certain what? A certain level. And if not, he'll be made fun of. He'll be humiliated. His country will be embarrassed. He may not even be allowed into the place if you see him dressed in a certain way. And the other brother who sells fruit on the corner, his lifestyle, his income is like what? night and day. But let's say he has $30,000 that he saved up. Or his mother died. His father died. He got it from inheritance. I don't know if he got $30,000. For him to pay that much money for a day and date Rolex, we may say is what? Israaf. Haram. La yajuz. That's extravagant. Based off of your income, your lifestyle. You standing on the corner selling fruit with a what? Bling bling. Everybody understand that? But the other one, who's an ambassador or this major position, we may say it's not what? It's not haram. It may be recommended because you have a certain income, you have a certain lifestyle, or it may not even be your money. And you're paid to look in a certain what? A certain way. The human psyche. How you present yourself, as you say. I ain't gonna remember, Mufti, you don't have a haircut. Every week y'all get refuted. The khutbah was sharp, but your hair wasn't. Your clothes weren't. Your boots weren't. You weren't matching. Your socks were off shade green. You have to present yourself in front of the people. You have to look in a certain what? Certain way. And it has a huge, profound effect on what? On people. How you present yourself. No question about that. So one man spending $30,000 on a watch may be okay, and the other one is clearly what? Israaf. One man spending $20 on a watch because he has rent to pay. He has to take care of his 5 children. He has a wife. That's the best that he can spend. He doesn't have to look in a certain way. He's not dapper. He just needs a basic way of keeping time. $20 is a good thing for him. But for the one who's an ambassador, it may be what? You're a miser. You're cheap. To go to a meeting at the UN with a what? A plastic $20 watch on your wrist. Where's your taste? Everybody saying this is disrespectful. Everybody hearing this or not? So the concept of it's subjective from person to person, time to time, place to place. But when it is israaf, it is israaf. So let's say overseas, how people eat there and how people in America. Custom and culture is the dominant thing. Here, this wedding, this walima or aqiqah, they have whole camel that's slaughtered. Or 3 or 4 sheep on a plate. And his bank account, the money that he has is what? It doesn't harm him what? At the least. Rather, if he fed his guests just rice and beans and a couple chickens, he would be looked at as being someone who insulted his guests. That's not necessarily israaf. But in another country, it's a different what? It's a different story. It's a different what? A different story. If you offer someone the head of a goat or the head of a fish, they will look at you as an insult. In other countries, they will look at it as an honor. We gave you the head, the eyes, the tongue, the brain. The flesh from the head is from the most tender flesh you'll eat from a goat. So it depends on the time and the place. It depends on the what? On the time and place. What is needed and what isn't needed. And a very important point is what a person can afford. You have the money, but it doesn't mean that you can actually what? Afford it. Everybody clear on this? But there is no one set rule of what is and what isn't. Because the one principle says that you can take what Allah made for you on earth. Don't make Allah's zina, the beauty of the Allah made, haram. And the other principle tells us about the dunya and the worthlessness of the dunya. And to have zuhud and so on and so forth. وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. So if you're stuck between these two principles, the rule is that it's always going to be a what? A seesaw, always. This is a qaida, khudh al-faida. Whenever a person is stuck between two major principles supported by kitab and sunnah, it's always going to be a what? It's always going to be a seesaw, and that seesaw is subjective and relative. To me, where I come from, this is normal for you to spend this amount of money on a pair of shoes. Normal. And if you have on beat up, dogged out shoes, you're culturally looked down upon. And to another person, another culture, it's the exact what? Opposite. Wallahu a'lam.